Hey everybody, so we're halfway through the week. It's Wednesday, hump day as we call it. At least you know the weekend's coming once you get to the end of today. So there's something that I want to talk about today. It's something that I've been dealing with my daughter most of her life, obviously, because she was born with autism. It wasn't caused by anything else. What I want to talk about today is understanding pathological demand avoidance. I always forget what it's called. It's my neighbour who has to tell me what it's called. But it's something that I've never sort of got a diagnosis for. I've just battled through with my daughter. So welcome back to the Be Yourself Unapologetically podcast. So today we're diving into a topic that many parents, carers, teachers, and even adults themselves have been searching for more information on. And as I said before, it's pathological demand avoidance, or PDA for short. If you've ever wondered why some children or adults find everyday requests so overwhelming that they go to extreme lengths to avoid them, then this episode is for you. We're going to explore what PDA is, how it presents, why it happens, and most importantly, how to support somebody living with it. So grab a cup of tea, get comfy, and let's get started. So what is PDA? Pathological demand avoidance is widely understood as a profile that sits within the autism spectrum. It's not a separate diagnosis in itself in the UK, but it is recognised by many clinicians and crucially by families and individuals who are living with it. At its heart, PDA is characterised by an extreme anxiety-driven need to resist and avoid everyday demands. This isn't about being stubborn or defiant, and I'm guilty of, using the words lazy when I've lost control with my daughter, and it's not naughty behaviour. So chastising a child for it, which I admit sometimes I have done, especially recently, because I'm finding it hard to cope. It's deeply rooted response to anxiety and a perceived loss of control. For example, where a neurotypical child might simply brush their teeth when asked, a child with PDA might laugh nervously, distract, argue, pretend to be an animal, run away, or even have a meltdown just to avoid that demand. And that's not because they don't want clean teeth, it's because the demand itself triggers anxiety. I really think it was important to share this today because I need to familiarise myself as well, because we can all forget that it's actually something that they can't control. Now, the signs and characteristics are PDA can look like in everyday life. Here are some common traits that parents and professionals often notice. Resisting everyday demands. Things as simple as getting dressed, doing homework, or even playing a game somebody else suggests. Now, reading books is a big thing with my daughter. Whatever lessons she's had all through her life, she's had the textbooks, she's had the revision cards, and because I have told her to use them, she resists using them. And it isn't until she realises herself that she actually needs to use them, and that's when she will do it, and it's always on her terms. So they use social strategies to avoid, such as changing the subject, creating excuses. She does that a lot. negotiating, or distracting the adult. Intense need for control. Feeling safest when they are in charge or dictating the play. So it can look like this in a child, like the child will only want to play what they want to play. They will not want to play a game with rules. They will want to make up their own rules. So they can have sudden move strings. One moment, everything is fine. The next, explosive frustration. I mean, there are quite a few of us adults very much the same. If like something changes in my day and I'm not expecting it, it can actually flip me over the edge. Now, my daughter's very much into cosplay, and when she's in cosplay, she is a completely different person to what she is in real life. Real life, she's got low self-esteem, she's quiet. In cosplay, she is confident and happy. And that's because many children with PDA immerse themselves in imaginative worlds where they feel more in control. They also have anxiety-driven behaviours, panic, aggression, or complete shutdowns when demands feel overwhelming. It's important to note that many of these behaviours overlap with other conditions, which is why PDA can sometimes be misunderstood or misdiagnosed. So why does PDA happen? The current understanding is that PDA is an autism profile with its roots in anxiety and a heightened need for control. Demands, even simple ones, can feel threatening because they remove that sense of autonomy. Imagine for a moment that someone is constantly telling you what to do. Sit down, write this, eat that, speak now, stop speaking, don't do that. You'd probably start to feel suffocated and anxious. For someone with PDA, this feeling is multiplied. Everyday life is filled with demands, spoken and unspoken, and we know children with autism really suffer with the social aspects. Their nervous system reacts as though those demands are threats. Avoidance, therefore, becomes a survival mechanism. The misunderstandings around PDA. One of the hardest things families face is being judged by others. To an outsider, a child refusing to get dressed, shouting no, or throwing a tantrum may look like bad behaviour or poor parenting. But the truth is, these behaviours are not a choice. They're anxiety responses. And the more demands are pushed, the stronger the avoidance becomes. We know this because of the schooling system and how it has affected her so badly. This is why traditional parenting strategies like using strict rules or punishments often fail and can actually make things worse. And now I learned this with my daughter from a young age, because when she was being told off for not putting her hand up or shouting out answers, and she was put on the cloud and was getting really depressed because of this, I would make her practice sitting still at home or telling her she needed to look at people because that was a sign of respect. And she still has moments where she doesn't understand. For example, yesterday she had her headphones on. They weren't on, no music were playing, but because she uses them as ear defenders as well, because they have a noise cancelling option for the outside noise. And she got told off by the teacher. She couldn't really understand what she'd done wrong, and me trying to drill into her that it looks disrespectful was just very confusing for her. So we have to look at the way that we deal with things and how we can support them best. So when you're supporting someone with PDA, what actually helps? So the key lies in collaboration, flexibility, and empathy. So here are some strategies that parents, carers, and teachers have found useful. Now, the reason why I'm telling you all this is because, like I've said, I have had to go back, learn and research, because the last few days have just been out of control, and it's all been about this pathological demand avoidance. So reduce the sense of demand. Instead of saying put your shoes on now, you might say, I wonder if these shoes would be comfier than those ones, or shall we see how fast we can get ready together? Offer choices and control. Giving 2 or 3 options allows a person to feel empowered while still meeting the need. Use indirect language. Instead of direct instructions, try curiosity or suggestion. So, for example, I wonder what we need to do before we can go outside. Incorporate interests. If the child loves superheroes, frame tasks as part of a superhero mission. If they're into animals, use role play to weave in demands. Like, my daughter really loves cosplay, so that's what I have got to do to kind of get her to just do the everyday things. And it is something that I've got to do to help. It's not her, we have to help them. We are the only ones that can. So you have to allow plenty of downtime, because living with high anxiety is exhausting. So making them have safe spaces, calming activities, and some time alone can make a big difference. Prioritise connection over compliance. Remember, the goal is not to win the battle, but to preserve trust, reduce anxiety, and support their growth. So many parents describe children with PDA as a roller coaster. There are beautiful highs, moments of laughter, imagination, and unique creativity, but also very real challenges. Adults with PDA who have spoken out about their experiences, describing how misunderstood they felt as children, and how much better life became when people stopped seeing their avoidance as defiance and instead understood it as anxiety. One adult with PDA explained it like this: every time someone tells me what to do, my brain hears it as a threat. It's like being cornered. I don't want to resist, but I cannot resist. That level of insight might help remember that empathy and understanding are far more powerful than punishments. So, where to find support? If you're listening to this and thinking, this sounds like my child, or even this sounds like me, the first step is to seek more information. In the UK, organisations such as the PDA Society, which I didn't know until today existed, offer excellent resources, guides and training. Speaking to a GP or specialist can also help, though recognition of PDA varies depending on where you live, just like most of the services. Connecting with other parents and autistic adults online can be life-changing. Not only will you find practical strategies, but also reassurance that you're not alone. So, closing thoughts today. Pathological demand avoidance is complex, but at its heart is a person doing their best to cope with overwhelming anxiety. When we approach PDA with compassion, creativity, and flexibility, we create space for these individuals to thrive. If you take one thing away from today's episode, just let it be this: behind the avoidance is not defiance, it's fear. And with understanding, that fear can be eased. So thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you found it helpful, as usual, please share it with a friend, teacher or parent who might benefit from learning more about PDA. And don't forget to subscribe for more episodes on autism, mental health, and understanding the way we all experience the world very differently. Until next time, take care, be kind, and keep learning.